Welcome to We Are Venomaniacs, the Venom Site's official podcast for all of your symbiote news, reviews, and point of views. My name is Orion, and I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts, Carlos.
Yo, people!
Tyler.
Merry Christmas!
And Aaron.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Today we've got a lot to cover to close out 2020. We're reviewing the symbiote comics of November and December 2020, including the beginning of the massive King in Black event. We'll also take a look back with a year in review and talk about the things that we're really looking forward to seeing in 2021. So the way that we'll tackle the sheer volume of comics we have to review today, which we have 16 comics in total to really review, to do this in a timely fashion, we're just going to spend the most time on the major issues, including Venom and the main King in Black event books, and then spend only a couple of minutes on the other issues to summarize which King in Black tie-ins are worth picking up from a Venomaniacs perspective, plus any noteworthy insights or reviews. So let's go ahead and start with last month's comics, November 2021, since we kind of missed out on that, and that was actually kind of on purpose, but I'll just explain that later. We'll begin with reviewing Venom number 30, which is the finale to Venom Beyond. So both Codex and Ann's team discover the blueprints to the Maker's dimensional gateway from Mac's virus armor and plan to build their own. Following a sweet moment between Dylan and Ann, Team Venom take their final fight to Codex, though Mac turns on Eddie as soon as he gets his armor back. Crazy Reed Richards disables the armor, putting Mac out of commission so Eddie, Ann, and Dylan can connect to Codex and redeem him with the power of love, ending Codex's symbiotic reign on Earth and placing the adult Dylan in a coma. Over a year passes on this alternate Earth, and in that time, Eddie and Dylan enjoy their stay with Ann, who continues to keep her vigil by her Dylan's bedside. Eddie and Dylan finally return to their universe, only to find all the stars in Earth's night sky disappeared, signaling the beginning of Null's invasion. So this is the final issue before King in Black, and I for one really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I mean, yeah, Venom Beyond had its problems. I definitely thought this was it maybe an issue too long. It could have been reduced by one issue, but overall, I think as Donnie's first real exploration into Anne, even if it is a different Anne than the one we know, I really did enjoy that aspect of it, and getting to see her as her own character rather than like a plot device. And I thought Donnie did a very good job with that.
Yes, I liked it. I kind of wish we saw more of Codex. We thought he was going to be this big bad, but it turns out he's just a sad boy. He just wants his mommy and his daddy. I wish we saw more of him being mean, but I mean, like I said, it just kind of wound up being he's just a sad boy who wants his mommy and daddy, which is something else. But I mean, it was still cool to see him like grown up, and seeing how the suits made him and Dylan see like a life with both of them. So that was pretty cool.
The idealized version of their lives, yeah.
Right, yeah. So that was pretty cool. But I wish we could have just saw more of him.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with Tyler. I'm glad that Donnie brought Anne back in some capacity as Venom in an alternate universe. But as for Venom Beyond as a whole, I was kind of somewhat disappointed with Codex because on the last issue it was kind of like a one-sided fight. Of course, for some reason, Codex, his powers didn't work on Eddie's symbiote. Because again, I guess because they're in a different alternate dimension, and yeah, it just felt like very short and quick, and it was kind of cool to see, both Dylans connecting, releasing their powers, and then for some reason Codex went into a coma, and that's pretty much it. Like then 1 year passes, and Eddie and Dylan, they stay on that Earth with Anne for 1 year. And also, it was also nice to see that Eddie grew his hand back, or he got his left hand, I believe. He got it back finally.
Yes.
Nice. But yeah, overall, I mean, Venom Beyond for me was decent. Again, I just didn't like the whole virus side of, Matt Gargan being virus. I've already said that before. And even in the issue, he wears back the armor for like literally 2 panels, and it gets blasted off him, and it's just like, it's just whatever. But hey, at least now Eddie and Dylan are back on 616 Earth, so
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was very happy that Eddie got his hand back, because that's one thing that's kind of been irking me this whole time. But, I'm happy he's full all the way now. But after we get to King of Black 2, there's something I want to say about that. Right? But Virus just was a big letdown. Like, he was pretty cool, but I just wish it was somebody else or someone more threatening. I mean, I kind of wish we did get one more issue just so they could flesh out some things, so we can see more of Virus, see more of, see like more of the Agent Venom team, see more of that. But but overall, I did enjoy it. I would like to see more of what they did during that 1 year, because like the hand thing, it's sort of glossed over. But I mean, I understand they just want to hop right into King in Black. And I will say one more thing, it's not a huge deal, but when they got back to Earth, the stars were already gone, like they already hopped forward and Null was already there. So, I mean, that's just kind of little
continuity error.
Not a big deal, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I will say, I do, like I've said before, and I think in the previous podcast, I really do wish we got some sort of web of Venom of showing Anne as Venom in this universe, and sort of the more of the origins of this universe. But and I think the weakest part of Venom Beyond was those reveals we had of Virus, which was super disappointing, and then Codex, which we already sort of knew was Dylan. So
yeah. Well, I do have a feeling that like we're gonna go back to that world, because again they left Matt Gargan there. So.
Yeah.
So they got to go back for him eventually.
Plus, however Dylan's going to be involved in King in Black, I think remembering Anne will be an important part of like what brings him back to reality, sort of.
Yeah.
Over Null's control.
And like this is sort of a nice arc, because there were a lot of fans who are saying, "Oh, like this entire run has been Null." But it was nice to get 1 or 2 issues about just being nice about like Eddie and Anne, and like being a family. So it was a nice little, break of the pace, I thought. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really hoping that this isn't the last of Anne we'll see. And I'm pretty sure it isn't. I think Donnie will have some plans, because he left Matt Gargan imprisoned on Anne's Earth, so Mac's got to come back somehow. And
I'd be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Anne was talking about towards the end of the issue how she's going to try to work with Mac to see if she can't redeem him and he can help her somehow. So it'd be cool to see, in a future issue of Venom by Donny Cates, Anne returns with a Mac Gargan, who seems maybe redeemed, but maybe he'll come back as Virus or something. And of course, echoing once again the disappointment over the whole Virus situation. But I think that's a rote point at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I still kind of hope that we see the like the carnage they have. Like he comes back and maybe becomes the new Cletus, but maybe he'll come back in King of Black. I don't know. Like
I'll have to wait and see.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, well, let's keep this moving. Next up, we'll review the final symbiote comic of November before King in Black began in earnest, with Web of Venom Empire's End #1. Spinning off from the finale of the previous Marvel event Empire, this issue follows a team of Kree soldiers as they investigate a derelict ship in the wake of Null's crusade across the universe. And we get to see a former symbiote host return, one we haven't seen since Space Knight.
Yeah, we get to see 2 former symbiote hosts.
Yeah, 2 Skrull women who had symbiotes before.
Oh, that's right. That's right. One from Space Knight and one from First Host.
Yeah. Very cool.
Pretty nice. And that's about all I have to say about it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a very decent. This was written, I believe, by Clay Chapman.
Yep.
Who currently writes or wrote Scream. Yes.
Yeah.
One of those words.
Yeah, and it was a very decent space horror book. I
Yeah,
thought.
I mean, Chapman's good at doing those horror books, and I think this is just another one of that. It's very much an Alien homage, and I had fun with it.
Yeah.
You did a really good job on it. Really well done.
Me personally, I would have liked to have seen more of Null killing off, other worlds, and that's what I kind of assumed this was going to be. This story kind of just focused on like one ship, but I was kind of hoping to see more of Null going throughout the universe and just like murdering, entire worlds. That's kind of what I thought it was going to be.
I guess we're going to see that with the Guardian
nice story
and the Wiccan Hulkling one shots. Whatever.
Yeah. But no, like I did like the two other scrolls that were back. I don't think the other girl had a symbiote name, but she was a purple one that was in Space Knight, and she looked kind of different. But the other girl, yes, and like the other girl was a sleeper for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see them, and I think they both got killed though, didn't they?
Well, no, Tarna is the I kind of appreciate because Tarna was essentially we don't know what happened to Tarna, so she was sent off in the escape pod, and that's the last we saw of her.
Yeah.
Like because that's what who's the other one? The one who the one from the Captain Marvel movie.
Trying to remember her name.
Malans.
Malans,
and then
Malans.
Okay.
Could they be saving her so she can become Sleeper again?
No,
because Sleeper's not really doing anything right
Talos is who I was thinking of. Talos is the Skrull.
What's her name, Tarna?
There's Tarna is the one from Space Knight. There's Talos is the one with like the cyborg eye who's in the Captain Marvel movie. And then he's the one who sent away Tarna. He's like, there's got to be one people to stay and warn them or whatever. And so he sent Tarna away to try to save her. And and that's why Null was like, oh, how noble of you, whatnot. So Tarna could still be out there, survive somehow. So but yeah, ultimately, I think ultimately, I think the enjoyment, I understand some people's issues with this because ultimately it is about some Z-list characters. It's a bunch of Skrulls and Kree that most readers have never even known about. Like even us as pretty hardcore comic fans, we know like two of these characters, and like there's again, I only know Talos from the movie. I never even knew about him in the comics before, so it's like, yeah.
I did like the one visual where the symbiote dragon was flying into the ship, and he just splats like a bug and like starts infecting the ship because of that.
That was really cool. I was just like, it was
pretty cool.
Flattens around it.
Too.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I know. As for me, I thought Empire's End was going to be more of seeing the absolute power of Null, what he can actually do. Now, again, I didn't mind the horror aspect, so I really loved how Clay wrote this. But I was kind of hoping we were going to see more of just the more brutal strength of what Null can offer. That wasn't really the case with this. And as Opie said in the chat, Malans, she was in first host, correct?
Yep.
As the second host of Sleeper?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's pretty much dead, right? Because I'm pretty sure one of the
I kind of thought that was well, yeah, because she was specifically she's like, I'm never going to bond with one of you again, and they're like, have it your way. They stab her in the gut. So I kind of thought that was hilarious. That as someone who's not a big fan of Costa's work, I thought it was hilarious that he just killed her off.
But for me, it kind of bummed me out a little bit because I remember, she was in first host and she was the second host of Sleeper, so it's kind of like, whatever. I mean, it's whatever. She died, so
yeah. All right.
Next.
Well, moving along
to
close out November's reviews, we'll talk about Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black. Now, unlike the previous, I kind of knew that someone was going to say that. Unlike the previous Symbiote Spider-Man comics, which we were reluctant to review due to the questionable place in continuity and their overall poor quality, Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black may be a limited series to follow in context to the larger King in Black event. Though the second issue came out in December, let's take a moment just to discuss the first two issues. So, first point is that they retconned Mr. E, who was an obscure Captain Universe villain, into a symbiote and a servant of Null.
Z-list or whatever.
And possibly related to the Venom symbiote somehow.
So here's my thing about this whole like arc they keep doing. How long are they going to keep making these books? And how long is Peter not going to see, oh, like the suit I'm wearing is alive? Because in this one, Mr. E like says that, hey, like fam, what's up, bro? You want to go worship Null or whatever?
Brother.
And Spider-Man's like, what are you talking about, bro? And so, I mean, like, I'm just wondering how long are they going to keep getting away with these? Because, at this point,
where's the demand?
We're getting 3 arcs into this. Like, isn't this the third story?
The third
Symbiote Spider-Man. Like, how long are they going to keep doing this?
Yeah, but because it's so
they're milking it. They're just milking it, obviously.
Yeah, they're milking it, and it's such a limited thing.
Just make an alternate reality. Just do that.
Yeah, they should just make an alternate reality because in the main universe, Spider-Man never discovers that it's alive. So in all these stories, Spider-Man can never discover that the symbiote is alive, and that is incredibly limiting. And so I don't know how much there is more to tell with that.
I mean, unless you want to do one issue where you bring Eddie Brock in and they have a little conversation, I'd be fine with that. But beyond that, no, I'm done.
And we'll get into this in the King in Black, the first issue. But I don't like how they're taking any shadowy type villain and trying to make him related to Null. It's kind of pissing me off at this point.
The thing is like I wanted to check out this series, even though I don't know, I'm kind of regretting it now because it's like I go into this, I skipped Alien Reality and I didn't care, right? And I go into this, I'm like, okay, so that guy Smythe, he's the Spider Slayer guy, and then all of a sudden he gets this, like someone's talking to him like telepathically or something, and then the sun eclipses, and then he turns into this like shadowy figure, Mr. E, and I'm like, and then he calls Mr. E, and then he calls Spider-Man like his brother, his brethren, and I'm like, how are you guys the same? You're like a shadowy figure, and I don't know. I don't understand the connection.
Wonderful Greg Land art that is definitely not traced from anywhere inappropriate.
Well, I mean, there are some good other arts, like in issue 2, I like the splash he does of Null and Spidey, I think, where he's like web slinging out the wall. But anyway, this also ties into Black Knight because I think that's the major point of this entire arc is that it's retconning Black Knight's origin. Because like Black Knight is going to have like another arc.
Yeah, he's going to have. He's going
to have like a story arc, right? Yeah. So supposedly they're going to make his blade related to Null somehow, which I kind of think they're going to make it Null's second weapon after he lost All Black. But I don't know.
I don't think so.
No?
So yeah, basically what happened is the Ebony Blade, which is Black Knight's sword, is now somehow connected to the Null mythos, because Mr. E claims it's one of the few weapons in the universe powerful enough to kill Null, and that's why he was trying to take it from the Black Knight. And now, since Black Knight is getting his own King of Black tie-in issue, the Ebony Blade might play a larger role in the event, which is why I said, this particular Symbiote Spider-Man series might warrant looking into for the larger event.
Yeah. The one thing I will say though is that I also like how they're bringing in some other characters later on. I like how the next one is going to bring in Rocket, Raccoon, and Kang, and then I like how the next one is going to bring in Monica Rambeau. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's more of what I want to see. Like I want to see more old school stuff, like not all this retcon Null, like Carnage stuff. But I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah,
I just want to get
I'll keep buying it so I can complain.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a hard
all
pass
right.
for me.
So let's roll on to December. So we'll start this out with the first issue of King in Black. Null and his army of symbiote dragons have arrived on Earth, and despite the Avengers' best efforts, the world is entirely unprepared for the King in Black's reign of living darkness. Earth's mightiest heroes and villains fall alike, under Null's sway. Null tears the Sentry in half and unleashes a Celestial upon the world. And even Eddie is stripped of his Venom symbiote and left falling from a skyscraper with no hope for survival. Before getting even into the details of this issue, I gotta say, I felt like Absolute Carnage #1 had even more of an impact for a starting issue.
No contest. You're 100% right.
Well, that's because it was Carnage, and it's not Null, who we've been building up for 3 years. You know what I mean?
With Absolute Carnage, that was like a $7 book because they had more pages to work with. Even though it was more expensive, yeah, Absolute Carnage definitely had a lot more going for it. As for King in Black, while it was slightly less, but still felt lengthy, it was kind of somewhat like I kind of felt it was predictable in some ways. But in terms of the art, like Brian Stegman wow.
The art absolutely carried this
art
book,
is always
100%.
amazing.
Like
Art is always
with the
amazing.
colorist as well, Frank Martin. Like he does such a good job with Ryan, and it's just like I feel like buying it is worth it for the art alone. Even if I'm not huge on the story. Like I don't hate it or anything, but it's just it's not as strong as it was some of Donnie's other stuff. And like one of you just said, it was predictable. Like stuff like the Symbiote Celestials, we knew that was coming. They teased that already. So it's like, and then again, there's the whole thing with relating the. I did like the homage, seeing Sentry torn in half, a taste of his own medicine. But
which
again,
they had to censor for some reason. I don't know why they had to censor that.
Yeah, but then again, there's the fact we're now relating the Void to Null because every single shadow creature.
Are we though?
Past it. It sounds like it. It sounds. He said the Void bows to me.
He said, So he said the Void bows to him. Not that he. Oh, look! It's this thing that I made. Oh, cool. You know, it's just this thing bows to me. So maybe it is. Maybe it's not.
Now the thing is like, okay, because I've never read Sentry before. Like all I know from him is that he was the one who ripped Carnage in half, and that's why
Ares,
and Ares too, right? And then I liked how Null somehow knew that, and he goes like he just got payback, and he ripped him in half. But I didn't really understand the full context. Like, so Sentry had this void in him, and then it automatically just went to Null. And now he's more powerful.
He's Superman, but he has like a dark side to him.
Yeah, and it's like this powerful creature called the Void inside him.
My thing about Sentry is that I would like to have seen him built up more in like the Venom book, because we haven't seen him like in forever, because he's been dead and he's been just wandering like other books for like years.
Yeah, he was in this little mini called Annihilation Scourge. He was a big part of that back, and so it was this big cosmic like little. I don't want to say huge.
Yeah, but it just seems kind of weird to have him like as a major point in the first book, and we don't.
Well, it's just
really know who
because they want him the job.
You know?
His mission in this book was to show how powerful Null is, and it was.
That's true.
It was just like, oh no! But the thing is, you
which
sort
is
of
a good job, I guess. But
at the same time, you sort of had that with the Celestials already. Like, oh, here's another thing that Null's just so powerful, and it is kind of getting eye rolling at this point. It's like we get it.
But Null has cool black void eyes now, which is actually kind of cool. But
because Donnie he teased in issue 25, like at the last panel page where you see like that splash page with Virus, you see the Celestials, you see Null, you see Codex, and you see the Maker. And the other thing too, like by far, King of Black issue 1, my favorite panel is when he exits out of the Celestial and he's asking for Brock, but he's not after Eddie.
But which Brock?
I still love how polite Null is about the whole thing. He's like, oh, I'm sorry guys, don't want to waste your time. I just need a Brock. Is that okay? Like, and then he's like, oh, I really should have clarified that, Eddie. I'm sorry. Like, I do like that.
The Avengers offer up Brock Lesnar on a platter.
Yeah. But
I did like the stuff between Eddie and his son. You know, he's like, I want to help out, Dad. He's like, no, son, you're going to stay in this Ezekiel bin over here.
I like that reference.
You know, you can play some Pokemon stuff in here, right?
So wait, Aaron, you forgot to ask the important question. Where's Sleeper?
That's a good question. Where is Sleeper? Because a lot of things would have been fixed if
we'll
Sleeper
get into
was
that.
there.
We'll get into that. But overall, like I said, I did find myself enjoying the issue as a whole. But it does have a lot of problems, and it's not nearly as strong of a start as Absolute Carnage was, because Absolute Carnage was very character driven. And we had all these moments between Eddie and Peter that were really nice to see, and then Eddie and
Right.
the Sun, and then this you don't get as much of that because it is very much turning into your typical big event against all the heroes.
It's like
Right,
Donnie
it's
saying,
just-
"Here's Null. He's finally here. He's finally here, guys. Let's get ready." You know.
And then we have to read all the other tie-ins to see Null actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
So, and like my other thing about like all these issues is that we don't get to see Venom actually do cool things with other folks. You know, like in Absolute Carnage, he's always with this one group. You don't see what he's doing. And now what it looks like is we're not going to see Venom at all. So that's fun.
Yet again, I mean, it was pretty cool because I mean, I thought they were going to go somewhere where Eddie went back to Cletus's old hangout where he had the little horde connector for the Hive, and he was going to try to make his own army, but then he ended up sensing that the Celestials were Null's backup, and that fell apart. I mean, overall, I mean, yeah, I really loved the first issue as a whole. I mean, yeah, again, I agree with Tyler. It wasn't as strong as Absolute Carnage, but I'm just, you know, I wasn't really surprised because I kind of knew it in my head. I knew that, you know, as when Eddie and Venom were having this moment together and they're about to confront Null, their maker. And of course, that just gets completely sidelined, and you know, Null's able to rip Venom off, and he just drops Eddie, and it's like he's on the side.
He falls, and we don't know what happens.
And well, should we just, unless Orion has any
jump
final
right
words,
into it.
should we just jump right into the next issue?
Yeah, we'll just get to the next one. So what comes next is actually Venom number 31, because it takes place in the span of just 30 seconds between the end of King of Black issues 1
Eddie's
and
fallen.
beginning of issue number 2. It's really just basically a monologue, or not really a monologue, but a voiceover of Rex Strickland pondering over who the heck is this Eddie Brock guy, while Eddie falls down through the symbiote-infested New York City, trying everything he can to save himself from imminent death. So, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It kind of felt like almost, I mean, besides the fact that Iban Cuelos is on the art duty and is always fantastic.
Always good.
This felt like a throwaway issue,
Yeah.
almost. Like,
watch out for falling Brocks.
This was them pacing it out, waiting until they could get King in Black 2 out. Like,
yeah,
haven't fallen.
Because with Absolute, like, you know, the Venom issue still added things to the story, because like in Absolute, the Venom issues were about Dylan and Normie doing some things with the Maker, and that's where you brought in Sleeper, so that was fun. But this issue and the next one just seem like they're going to be filler, because Eddie is doing stuff in the main like King in Black book. So I mean, it's nice we get to see Rex again, and it seems like we're actually going to see him again next issue. But yeah, it just didn't seem like it added much of anything to it. I think
the highlight of this issue for me is that it shows that Eddie Brock has not abandoned his faith completely. And I that's always the aspect I've liked of him. I know I said some complaints about him abandoning it in Venom Island, so it is nice to see, no, just like any good Catholic, this is just a crisis of faith he's had, and he's still, a part of him does still believe in the Lord. And so that's cool, just praying about Dylan and how important Dylan is to him right now.
Yeah, you're right. I was actually surprised that he was able to do that and reconcile with himself and his faith. And
he was able to do a lot while falling. I'll say that much.
Back to basics, buddy. He has his hair back. He has his hand back. He has his face back.
Well, it's like he's web swinging so many years. You know, he's not really afraid to fall from long heights. And I just found it like weird that he was just bouncing off of buildings, trying to get help from a helicopter while he's like falling at like Mach 5 speed.
Yeah, well,
you know.
Yeah, but then
like how much time does he really have in mid-flight to yell at that helicopter?
Yeah, it's a tall effing building, I guess.
It's fine. It's fine.
Also,
it's fine.
I'll admit, as the I gotta say it, but as the resident Flash fan, I like that we are reminded that Rex says like he wasn't the Venom I wanted. Wanted Flash Thompson, but I gotta work with him, I guess. And I'm right there with you, Rex.
I'm not sure why Rex has this huge thing about Flash, because Flash was not the best host who kept drugging the symbiote and like all this other stuff.
He was,
but he's like, I wish I had this dude who would just listen to me, because I think that's what he wants. He just wants the little soldier boy to follow orders.
He
Exactly,
wants
just
a
want a
Venom
soldier
with
boy.
some training, some strategy, and know-how. That is exactly
But
what
in
it
Venom
says.
Inc., we show that we don't have to have that.
Yeah,
We
but
don't have to have training.
But Flash still saved the
Yeah.
day in Venom Inc. So.
No, he didn't.
All right, and then
All right,
anybody?
so-
I guess the only other thing is that Dylan is really trying to talk to anybody, and then everyone just keeps shutting Dylan out.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
funny. It's like, kid, get off the line. Kid, get off the line. You're not gonna like what you
He's gonna
see.
find
And as
you.
soon as he turns on TV, it's like, oh crap, my dad's falling.
Yeah.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Brock crashes.
Yep.
And
So
looks
in
like
the second issue, the second issue of King in Black concludes Eddie Fall with a devastating crash into a car. Spider-Man arrives too late to save Eddie, who barely clings to life. When nullified Avengers and X-Men stand in Spider-Man's way to take Eddie to safety, Human Torch arrives to save the day with a sacrifice play to bide Spider-Man a time to escape. Iron Man attempts to save Eddie's life by bonding to a symbiote dragon controlled by Extremis Tech. But the symbiote begins to take over Eddie, and Dylan is forced to destroy it. And in the end, the inevitable arrives. Eddie Brock is dead.
All right, but who? Okay, is there one single person on this earth who actually think he's
dead?
Does anybody
Look,
think
he died. I don't know what
Does
to tell you,
anybody
Aaron.
think that?
This is Venom's
Yeah,
dead.
He's
totally.
dead.
We're done here.
Totally.
He's good as dead. You have to
Totally.
live in it now, you're in.
Totally he's dead.
Don't worry that he's got a movie coming out, and don't worry that
Look,
this is 200 issues.
I'm
He's
just
dead.
saying. I'm just saying, if he can't have a hand lost, or if he can't lose his faith, he can't die. I mean that's just how it is. That's how it is.
Yeah.
But you know, Kate says teased like years ago things. Oh well, who knows what happens if a symbiote bonds with the ghosts, or maybe there's a symbiote afterlife. So this is just a step to get us into the symbiote afterlife to see how we can beat Null from there. So you know, so it's not a big deal.
I think Donnie has stated on Twitter before. I think he is going to show that type of perspective in the afterlife, how symbiotes die and where they go.
Which I'm really hoping we see some other like cameos, like maybe we see Cletus, maybe we see Anne if she's actually dead, maybe we see Toxin, maybe we see Scorn, just some other dead.
I think we'll actually see that. I think we'll actually see that in Venom number 32, because we do get a few pages of preview from Venom number 32 at the end of King Black number 2, and it's like right after Eddie dies, and he's kind of in this limbo area.
Yeah.
Hear a voice call him. It's like, I think we're going to get a lot of that.
And it's Rex, yeah. And I guess Rex is going to talk to him from the symbiote afterlife, though I don't, like my same issue at the other issue, is it going to be mostly filler? Is it going to be him just flashing and like imagining that it's Rex? How much is it actually going, to affect?
If I'm
issue
basing
3?
it just on the cover, I'm guessing that Rex is going to try to help him fight off the influence of this other symbiote that they're trying to bond with him.
Right. It's like in the after Null world or whatever, like the influence of the dead symbiotes or whatever.
Enough talk about the next issue. We should talk about, King in Black number 2.
Yes.
I would say it's not a symbiote related moment, but I do really like the moment with Spidey and Torch. And it's just that's always a relationship I've always really liked
always nice.
as a Spidey fan.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, hell yeah, to tell him I said something heroic, all right? So
and then he blows up Supernova. But
I know it's just for plot convenience, but technically, Eddie dropping from that height and just literally crashing into that car. Of course, people make the argument saying like he got saved from that goop because that might have cushioned his injury or not that much, but yeah, I kind of really felt bad for Spider-Man because like in this, I kind of really felt bad for Peter because he's legitimately scared and out for help. And then, all you see that Cyclops, Storm, She-Hulk, thing, they got all nullified. Now, which now... So, I guess that Null is now taking over the Avengers slowly with his symbiote horde. And unfortunately, we only get one scene with saying, oh, is it really that hard to kill one person, And we don't really see Null except for that one panel. So all in all, for me, King of Black was just filler.
Yeah, I really like that one panel of Null just going, is it really that, like, he's just throwing up his arms, like, is that really so hard to kill one person? It's like,
and he just leaves him, like, he doesn't even go after him. He's like, all right, well,
and
whatever.
Doesn't care.
Speaking of those nullified...
Wait, no, he's the bait.
Oh, yeah.
So they're gonna... So I guess they're going to follow Spider-Man to see where he is, and that's how they're going to get to Dylan in issue 3.
Well, speaking
But anyway,
of those,
you go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, speaking of those nullified heroes, I want to bring up a point that Aaron and I have been talking about, where it's like we're not really big fans of these designs. It just it feels a bit lazy.
Yeah, like what does nullified even mean? They're not null. They're symbiote infected, but they look like null. Like I said, like when we first saw Venom being like nullified in issue 1, why don't you just have them completely covered in a symbiote
I think
and then like give them like the swirl?
The only reason I think is because they want to try to separate it from Venomize and all that. They want to try to make
sense though, but sure.
It doesn't. But they just want a separate design to show that this is Null's influence, I guess. But it isn't something I'm a huge fan of. I wish they were just covered
Venomized
exactly with the swirl.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense that they're like half formed and like they have these like evil Null smiles going on. Just make them venomized and then just give them like the red veins and the red swirl.
Well, at least in Venom #1, at least in the nullified Venom, that looked good because he had all the red veins and the spiral in his face. Here, it's just like they just have the small symbol on their face and they have like all the huge grins like Null has.
Why do they have the spider symbol too? Like, why do they have that? Why?
It's the dragon symbol.
Yeah, they got to make more Funko Pops and variant covers, obviously.
I've fallen victim. I mean, there are a couple of nullified variants I do like, and I have in my collection.
Well, I got all of them ordered, so I can complain. So,
and I did like the Iron Man stuff with Extremis. I thought was kind of cool with the dragon whatnot because Iron Man has had that experience with symbiotes with his like fake symbiote suit from the Superior and all that.
Superior Iron Man, yep.
And so, I did kind of like that, but I did think it was kind of, the Namor part was really weird, and it was just sort of Namor just walking in here, big dick. It's like, what up? Who's the real, god of the Abyss? Like, I was in the Abyss. And it's like, Namor,
no one cares about
you're
Namor.
A fish man.
Nobody
go back
cares.
to your tie-in.
No one's reading your tie-in because it has nothing to do with King in Black. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
We'll get to that.
No, we won't.
So it's pretty much all filler for that issue. So
yeah.
Except for Eddie does. But,
again, not quite as strong. Compared to the second issue of Absolute Carnage, how would you rate King in Black #2?
Well, I think the same issue with Absolute was that the first issue was just so strong that everything after that is just kind of meh.
And here they're setting up all the tie-ins and everything. So
I honestly wish they would have not shown us the preview for Venom 31 because it just made it seem like, oh well, he's going to come back. Yeah. So they really shouldn't have shown that just so we can dwell on him being killed off right there.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
We'll see.
All right. Now we're going to just speed through our rapid fire reviews of the King in Black tie-ins of December. Not going to spend too much time on these. So starting off, we're just going to go Black Cat #1. Is it essential King in Black reading? No, it's not really. Is it
cool? Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
I'm reading it.
Venomaniac recommended. Not quite yet. I think the next issue is where we're going to see this apparent anti-Venom Black Cat. And really the noteworthy insight and review is that Dr. Aaron from Costa's Venom in Venom First Host makes a return. And this is how they're going to tie in the whole anti-Venom thing.
Yeah, and overall, this is a series I was reading before. This is basically just continuing where it left off, except jumping into the middle of an event. And so Black Cat was a series I was enjoying quite a bit, and I think this is a fairly strong start. And I am very excited to see where it goes with the anti-Venom thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I read it too, and I actually enjoyed it. I'm fully on board. I want to see an anti-Venom Black Cat. Yep. Please and thank you.
I'm a stickler when it comes to anti-Venom. I say any anti-Venoms after Eddie Brock really is not worth it. So
I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I just think it's kind of lame that we have Carnage in this, but it's not actually Carnage. We have anti-Venom in this, but it's not really anti-Venom. So, we're
going to have Toxin, but we don't know if it's...
But is it actually Toxin?
We'll see about that. But yeah, so if you like Black Cat, I say get this issue. It's a very enjoyable read, especially with Spider Buggy and fighting dragons. And you're going to steal Doctor Strange.
would
Yeah, but it's
recommend
cool to
it.
see. It's cool to see Dr. Stevens back, and it is cool to bring that anti-venom suit in. Which also begs the question: if Eddie told Dr. Stevens, why don't they just make an anti-venom bomb?
Maybe he was making it. Maybe he's got to take some time. He's got to cook.
I guess
We got to cook, Jesse.
yeah.
Come on.
That's just
All
comic
right.
stuff. But
All
yes.
right, rolling on. We got King in Black, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, which is just released today. Is this essential King in Black reading? Possibly.
Is it cool?
Yes. Venomaniac recommended. Absolutely.
I still have to read
Noteworthy.
it.
Yeah, noteworthy insights and reviews. Tony Stark has a change of heart for Eddie Brock in the wake of his death, which was a real reversal considering how angry he was at Eddie for bringing Null down upon them. Then also Doom and Tony discuss how Tony's Extremis tech may be a solution to controlling the symbiote dragons. And overall, this was a pretty fun issue with Iron Man and Doctor Doom versus a nullified Santa Claus.
Yeah, I was
Very
surprised with this because initially when this was announced, I thought this was the dumbest sounding thing. Like this is the sort of tie-in I would expect like Howard the Duck to get or something, where it's a silly Howard versus Santa Claus or something, not Iron Man and Doctor Doom versus Santa. That seems like so out of place for this generally very serious event. And so when it was announced, I was so hesitant. And actually reading it, I didn't think it was that bad. Like I was like surprised with how Tony's dealing with the loss of Eddie, how he feels responsible for this, and acknowledging the good things Eddie has done in his life. And I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was cool. I don't know what else I can add. I think it was cool that he was singing an evil version of Jingle Bells. It was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah. All right. And still in the Christmas theme, we have King in Black, the Immortal Hulk. Is it essential King in Black reading? No. Is it Venomaniac recommended? I would say yes.
Yup.
The noteworthy thing about it is that it's one of the few good tie-ins so far, and it was a kind of cute, if horrific, silent Immortal Hulk Christmas story with a truly gruesome and unique symbiote villain design.
Yeah.
We got like nullified two people, bonded together because so like Immortal Hulk is on some like the body horror stuff. So you have these two folks who are meshed together into this weird nullified monster looking thing.
No, it was Aaron Cooter really killed it with that design, and it's like he's not the normal Immortal Hulk guy, but I thought it was just the way, like you could tell it was just wrong. It was like built wrong the way it, like you could see it move basically, just the way it like hobbled across, and I just think that speaks so strongly to the artist, and just he did a fantastic job with that design. It really is super creepy.
Yeah, this issue I kind of skipped, but now you guys are saying it's pretty good, so I gotta get it.
Yeah. And
it's a fun issue.
I was a little confused because in the main series they bring up that these symbiotes aren't really weak to fire and sonics, but then that's how Joe defeats these with fire and sonics. So what was that about?
Who knows?
That's just sort of inconsistency, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so rolling on, we got Atlantis Attacks number 5, which is essential. Absolutely not. Venomaniac recommended. Absolutely not. And really, only the last page ties into King in Black, and it really wasn't worth it. So
just buy these if you like Namor.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, it's just weird because it's like this was a series that had nothing to do with King in Black, and then in the last issue of the mini, they're suddenly, oh, by the way, King in Black, and so. I don't know why they just slapped it. It really feels like they just slapped on a King in Black to the last page, or like, let's make it King in Black related for some reason.
And on the cover.
Yeah, it makes
and in the checklist.
It makes no sense. Buy the Namor book. That's what this was. I don't know why.
Yeah. So then that rolls into King in Black Namor number 1 and 2. Is it essential? No. But possibly.
No, it's not.
No.
Possibly. Come on.
No.
Definitely not recommended. This was just an origin story for a team of characters who will show up later in King in Black. Nothing necessarily symbiote related happens in the first 2 issues. So really, like, if the Black Tide, which is this new group, is going to be actually important in King in Black, will we will see, but right now it's not really.
Yeah,
Well, you got to think about Absolute, because the last issue of Absolute is when you had Scream hop in and she didn't do anything.
she was there for one panel, exactly.
And that's the same thing that's going to happen with this Namor book. They're just going to pop in. Hey, we're here. Did you read our tie-in? No. Well,
Yeah, it's like we have Cthulhu magics on our side. Let's fight Null with them.
Oh, dude, Null versus Cthulhu, dude. Oh my god. Which is probably going to happen. But we'll see.
All right, so next up we have The Union, #1. Is it essential? Nope. Is it recommended? Nope. Really, the only noteworthy thing is that it's a new team of British heroes battling a symbiote dragon. That's about it.
This one is another very similar thing as the Atlantis attacks, because this was originally for Empire. So I assume it was just going to be it was going to be like a plant invasion instead of a dragon invasion, and then one of the heroes dies, and they just had to retool it because of all the delays, COVID and all that, and so now it's a symbiote invasion instead. So this is like completely skippable.
I don't even remember this book at all. So
it's pretty forgettable.
All that happens is that one of the new heroes, Britannia, dies. She got stabbed by the symbiote.
Oh wow!
And
she dies, air quotes.
Yeah, dies, air quotes, because she's on the cover for the every other issue. So
yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So then, lastly, we have Spider-Woman #7. Is it essential? No. Is it recommended? No. The only noteworthy thing is that whatever serum Spider-Woman is using to boost her powers right now makes her blood toxic to symbiotes, so they refuse to bond to her. Otherwise, this is just a continuation of the book's ongoing story set to the backdrop.
It also makes her really angry.
Oh yeah,
angry,
really edgy. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the books of 2020. Let's go ahead and close out 2020 by each of us talking about a couple of things that we each liked in symbiote-related media and merchandise from this long, challenging year. We each of us have about 2 points to make. Some of us are probably sharing a few things, but I'll go ahead and start and say one of the things I liked was Venom Beyond. I loved that it was kind of a little bit of a change of pace, even though it was still Null related. It is a little bit different from what Donnie has been doing with his Venom run, and I just loved that Anne returned in a new kind of fashion. That this is a brand new kind of Anne who didn't have all the baggage of the previous Anne. Anyone want to add to that?
No,
sure.
Okay.
I mean, like, this was also a big deal for like merchandise this year. This is the year we had Maximum Venom, and this is the year where we got most of the Venomized Funko Pops. Like Maximum Venom as a show was pretty meh. It was kind of pretty much, it was kind of like shown throughout the year. Like there was like 1 or 2 months in between the episodes. I mean, even though they were huge, like disappointment, we all had fun, like saying, oh my God, dude, like, are they going to do this next? Are they going to do this next? For me, like, it was also fun finding all of the merchandise, like the action toys and like the little, slime toys they were making. So like, it was fun to find like Maximum Venom toys and whatnot. Like, even though the whole show was a disappointment, and Funko Pops kind of bad, sort of good, because I had to buy at least, I think I saw like on the app, there was like 70 new Venom ones like this year. So kind of good, kind of bad. But yes, I liked all of the new merchandise. So
yeah. And how about Carlos? What's the point that you liked?
Well, this doesn't really count as a 2020 point. As we all know, 2020 has been a really, really disappointing year. The pandemic has been hard on everyone, including us here at We Are Venomaniacs. And unfortunately, Venom Let There Be Carnage was unfortunately delayed, so we never got to see it this past October. And but Sony has come out and said they have delayed the film to June, I believe, June of 2021 next year.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of annoyed that we haven't gotten a new trailer since this time, But I'm really hopeful. I'm really hopeful that for the next movie, I really hope by then, theaters will be back open and we can finally watch it, and then by then we'll have our review. So that's just something we all are looking forward to next year. So yeah.
I am subscribing to the fact that if I have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. That's all you're getting out of me.
Yes, we don't want a repeat of episode 14.
Look, I'm allowed to have my opinions, okay?
Hey,
We will
no
be
Venom
reviewing it.
bashing. No Venom bashing.
Yeah, well,
all right, Tyler, how about a point you like?
in terms of things I did like this year, Scream. I mean, I know this is a point you share with me, but it's Scream. The series was my highlight of this year, and it is absolutely tragic that we got it canceled early because of COVID. Just this was my. I looked forward to this series whenever each issue came out. This was basically all I wanted from Andy. This is finally getting her own series, something I had always been wanting, and it was an awesome series. And I really liked the in-depth look at her relationship with the Scream symbiote, something that also sort of needed a bit of a push in terms of character development and all that. And so I really can't thank Chapman enough for giving us what we got, because it was so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Agreed.
luckily though, we're gonna get some more Scream by Clay in the new year with King in Black Planet of the Symbiotes #1 and King in Black Scream #1.
Yup.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
We're sleeper number one.
And apparently the reason we're getting Scream #1, according to I think Clay and then
Devin,
other people, is that it was because and Devin is because of us fans screaming for more Scream. We want more Scream.
Don't
so
stop
really
screaming about it.
Yeah, I mean, keep tweeting about it. # revive Scream. Just keep doing that. Marvel is somehow listening to us, and they want to hear what we have to say. So just keep saying it. Keep saying we want Scream back.
I got every floppy issue, and I recently picked up the trade, and it is great. It's a great series. You buy it. Just buy it.
Yep. All right. And then Carlos, do you have something else you are interested in?
For this year, as you know, King of Black, right? Because we've been waiting for this to happen. So far we are enjoying it. We have our criticisms, we have our critiques. I'm really looking forward to issue 3 next month, which will drop. And I'm really hoping this series has a good ending. So I'm just going to be hopeful that Donnie is going to deliver on this event. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I know that this is Tyler. This is a point that you have, but I just remembered now another point that I liked about 2020. We finally got our very first officially licensed Venom movie action figure from the Marvel Legends line.
Yeah, the Marvel Legends.
Thank goodness we finally got one.
No, it's a very impressive figure. Like even though he's got those nasty toes that I hate, it's a very good figure.
Yeah,
it's movie accurate though, so whatever.
The toes aren't the part of the feet that I don't like. It's the fact that he's very difficult to stand up, and he doesn't have any peg holes. So we can't. Yeah, so we can't put him on a stand like that. So it's like it's very difficult to stand him up on its own.
Put your peg into Venom. So. Yeah, but no, it's a
very nice figure.
It's a very nice figure. I'm so stoked that we got a Phage action figure. We're now over halfway to all the Life Foundation symbiotes, which I think is great. Like the Phage figure looks awesome. I think it looks great on my shelf. And then in addition to the Legends, even though it was a symbiote Deadpool figure, which it looks cool, even if it is a character I'm not a huge fan of. But in Marvel Legends aside, we also got that amazing Mafex Carnage figure, and that thing is on point.
Don't need to get mine. Damn you guys.
I just got my Mafex Carnage today, and I also got my Marvel Legends Toxin figure, the new one, the really big one.
That's stuck in the States for me. Yeah, he's in the States, and I can't get him because I can't go across the border. It sucks.
This guy, he's built on the same body for the monster Venom, but he has a new head, and then he has all that back spaghetti, and he just makes him look even bigger.
He chonky.
Oh yeah, he's huge.
Sick boy.
Anyone else have anything they liked in 2020 before we wrap that up?
There was a lot of cool video game stuff. like Venom finally got into Fortnite.
Oh, brother.
You make Venom dab.
Yeah. Dab, he can floss, he can do all those cool
Where Aaron on
to do.
Twitter for like roughly 70 days was tweeting, "Oh, he's
every
not,
single
he's
day.
Not on the store yet. I'm
Not on the story yet. Yeah, I mean, there's some other cool things. You know, like we got some things. You know, we got Spider-Man Venom Double Trouble, which is pretty cute. We got the Heroes at Home, which is also pretty cute.
Oh yeah,
we
Double
got
Trouble. I really love Double Trouble.
Yeah, we got some good Lego sets this year that had like the Venomsaurus Rex Lego set. You know, there's a lot of cool merchandise things we got. You know, just looking forward to see what happens next year.
I think we got a third Venomnibus, the worst one.
third.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the dark era, but whatever. It's still Venomnibus. All right. Then we're just gonna cover what we're all looking forward to in 2021 for Symbiote Media merchandise. So first up, of course, there's Venom: Let There Be Carnage, the sequel to the first movie.
If it happens,
like we said, yeah,
if it happens,
I'm crossing my fingers that more studios take a page out of WB's book and starts to do the whole simultaneous.
Well, here's the thing, though. Sony doesn't have a streaming service, and Morbius has to come out first. So if Morbius doesn't, if they push back Morbius some more, then we're screwed, because apparently due to leaks, Morbius has to come out first. So we just got to hope that gets shoved out first, and that's all I'll say. So, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like the other movies were being successful. Like Wonder Woman was doing good. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want to see this movie because I hate that we have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing it.
Yeah,
but anyway,
and hopefully it'll mean we'll see more Venom merchandise, because I like you noted, I think with the second wave of Venom, when it came out, the Venom movie action figure for the Marvel Legends wave, the new Absolute Carnage figure was probably originally supposed to be the Carnage from Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, and we also got a Morbius Halloween mask, and we also got like a Venom door knocker that looks exactly like the movie version, but they had to not make it movie branded. They just had to make it regular, like Marvel branded, and that's probably because they were going to come out around Halloween, but
things change. Yes. Yep. So hopefully we'll see a merchandise boom for the movie in 2021. Then next up we have the end of King in Black, and then the highly anticipated Venom number 200.
Woo! 200. Can't wait.
Who knows what that's going to be about?
Yeah, but apparently it's going to change Venom forever.
Get ready
but he's already dead, so how can they change him? But he's dead. How can they change him forever now if he's dead?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Dylan will be Venom.
Who knows?
Venom Jr.
I don't know.
Venom Jr.
Well, it seems like a certain artist yesterday posted a picture of Venom and then deleted it. So.
Well, look who it is. Who has shown up?
Hey, John.
John has made an unexpected arrival on the podcast. Hey, John.
So just real quick, just tell us, what are you looking forward to next year?
He's gone. He left.
He's gone. Oh no!
One job.
He leaves in fear of the superior Agent Venom fan.
Oh, he's back.
Do you have anything to say, John?
All right.
Are you guys recording right now?
Yeah, yes, we are.
Yeah.
This is the podcast that you never show up to.
Oh, jeez. I just wanted to come in and listen for a second.
We're almost done. We're wrapping up. So quick. Highlights of Venom for 2020. And what are you looking forward to in next year?
Highlights for 2020.
Flash being dead still.
Yeah, great.
Flash
Ignore him. Ignore Aaron.
I'd just say I've really enjoyed the run in general. I'd say my lows are probably Venom Island, and highs are probably this past arc. I don't know what it was called.
Venom
where he went
Beyond.
to the alternate universe.
Yep.
Venom Beyond. Yeah, I really enjoyed that arc, but overall, pretty great for the comics. At least it's a bummer the movie didn't come out. Yeah, I'd say it's been a solid year for the comics. It's definitely got me through 2020 at least.
Yeah.
Anything you're looking forward to?
Anything I'm looking forward to, dude? Just Null being done.
You and me both. So tired of Null.
Yes, I think I'm ready for what comes next for Eddie. Right, like, not that.
But he's dead, so
yeah, dead for
forever.
mostly dead. To quote Princess Bride, right? He's mostly dead.
Yeah. Mostly dead.
He, nothing's gonna go wrong there. I mean, I'm sure Donny Cates has his.
I don't know, man. I would maybe hope that they actually get permanently bonded now. That'd be pretty cool. But
I would love that, dude.
I would love that.
I feel like in the old issues, it's been forever since I've read them. I want to pick up the Venom books, but I feel like it used to be like, oh, when you permanently bond, then that's it. Then you can't be unbonded and blah, blah,
Yeah, like
blah.
that's happened like 2 times in the past. And it never stayed. It never
and
stuck.
It never stuck, right?
They like switching it up too much. You need those, Venom dog action figures and all that. So
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to what happens like after this. Like, what is he going to come up with next? Because Null was big and stuff like that. I just think he's overstayed his welcome just a bit, and so I'm looking forward to
throw him in jail. Throw him in jail.
Right to jail.
Lock him up.
All right. Well, thank you for that, John. Great to hear you at the end of all things here.
I'm glad I got to hop on for a little bit. I was seriously just expecting to listen in for a little while.
Yep. All right, so moving on, next point. Another thing to look ahead to for 2021, more Scream and then Toxins.
Hell yeah! I am so stoked for that.
Yeah.
I'm not, because I don't know
Shut up,
if they're going to make
this
him
isn't
an
about
evil
you.
boy. He may be an evil boy.
No.
What if he's evil? He looked evil on the cover. What if
Scream
he's
always looked evil on the cover. All right.
No, Toxin.
Don't worry, Sleeper will help out.
How much you want to bet he's going to have a different design from what's on the cover?
He will.
He will. Brand new Null design. That's what it's going to be.
And he's going to be an evil boy with a new host. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Where's Sleeper number one? We want Sleeper number one. We want Sleeper number one.
I'm really looking forward. I'm really hoping, praying that Marvel, like I said, recognizes the demand for more Scream, and we get more Scream besides these 2 King Black tie-ins. So, yeah, fingers crossed we get more Scream. And then merchandise. Yeah. Merchandise, we got the Hot Toys Venom movie figure coming.
Are you a rich man with too much money
that's going to be in 22,
away?
Though.
Yeah, that's
for 22, though.
Yes, 2022. But you can pre-order it now for $405.
Rip your wallet forever.
Do it anyway.
Jesus.
Do it anyway. Maybe the second movie will be up by then.
And then, by the time the second movie comes out, maybe we'll see a Marvel Legends Venom Wave 3. Maybe for Let There Be Carnage Wave. Who do you want to see in that wave?
Give me Mania.
Hell yeah.
Mania. Please.
We need Mania, then we need either Agony or Riot.
And She-Venom. Scorn.
Yeah.
Give me all the figures I want.
All of them. The only male figures of that line will be
movie
Venom
Carnage,
and then movie Carnage, and the rest of them is all
Riot will be
female
the Build-A-Figure.
Make a Null figure. Make a Null figure. Do it.
Yeah.
Null figure.
And then any other merchandise coming out next year that we haven't already covered?
Probably something.
I can't.
Come on, Mayfex. Mayfex, give me an Agent Venom. Let's do it. Come on, Mayfex.
Me and Orion earlier before we started, we Want a Mafex Scream?
That'd be pretty cool.
Like I said, if they did a Mafex Scream, it would have to be an improvement over the Marvel Legends figure.
You can't move that head at all with that hair.
I think there's some more statues coming out, but I can't think of any other merchandise off the top of my head right now. Yeah.
All right, then lastly, hopefully we'll hear some sort of announcement for a sequel to Insomniac's Spider-Man game, hopefully featuring Venom as he was teased in the last
Not
game.
Harry Osborn.
It's going to be Harry.
Yeah, hopefully not Harry
It's going to be Harry. It's going to suck.
It's not going to be Harry
I'm telling you, it's going to be Harry.
Look. They went back and made up a bullshit story on how they have to change his face, right? So now he looks like Tom Holland. So they're going to make him... They're going to make Eddie Brock, but he's going to look like Tom Hardy.
That's one of many disappointments they've already given you. It's going to be disappointing. I'm sorry. I have no faith in it.
Well, see, here's the thing. Sony forced them to do that. We all know they did it. They're going to force them to make Eddie Brock Venom. So it's happening.
Hopeful. They're so hopeful.
It's happening. Well, I mean, that's the only good... That's the one... Like the one good thing about them, like making his face into Tom Holland, is that for a fact someone's like, "Hey, you should probably just make it more like the movies."
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't like it either, but that just means you're going to do Venom. So that's the one good thing. It's not going to be Harry because Sony's breathing down their neck saying, "Hey, we got to make these Venom movies, so just make them look like Tom Hardy." It's going to happen.
They're just going to make Harry look like Tom Hardy.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Looks like they're not going to do that. They're not going to do it. They're not.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else we can look forward to in 2021 that we haven't covered already?
We got more books coming in. We got Venom versus Carnage. We got Carnage Red. Is it Red Black?
Red, no, black? It's
Red,
black, white. No, black, white, and blood.
Well, anyway, we get more Carnage content, so that's good.
Yeah.
We don't know if Cletus is actually back, but I'll take whatever at this point.
I'm excited for MJ Carnage. I'm very excited for her. I love that design.
But it's not actually MJ.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with
that.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Reasons. For reasons,
people who don't know.
It's a great design, all right, Carlo?
For folks who don't know. But yes, that's cool. I don't know. If we get Toxa back at least. That's cool. We get Toxa back. We get Scream back. Who knows? Maybe based off a variant cover, we get She-Venom back. But I don't know about that.
All I know is that 2021 can't be worse than 2020 was. So it's only going to go up from here.
Oh, man, he said it.
I said it. I said it confidently.
It's going to be terrible.
We'll
All
see.
right. That wraps up our final episode of 2020. Thank you for everyone who has supported the show in the past year. Now, if you were following along on our Twitter, subreddit, or Discord server in the recent months, you may have seen this announcement before, but for all of our listeners, we have a little bit of bittersweet news. We are Venomaniacs will be going on a hiatus after our 50th episode, which will be released sometime around early April 2021. We intend to cover
all
King
5
Black.
of our viewers will be so sad. I'm sorry.
All right, Mr. Sour Pants.
Yeah.
We intend to cover King in Black in its entirety up to the end of the event in March with 3 more monthly episodes. But after that, we will be on a break for a little while as we restructure and reorganize the podcast for our eventual return. You can be sure that we'll be back to review Venom Leatherby Carnage, but that might be temporary depending on how far along we've come with our restructuring by then. But don't worry, this is not the end of our podcast. We will return. Until the next episode.
Keep a good symbiote down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We will always have something to talk about. Until the next episode, we wish you all a happy new year and hopefully a better new year. You can listen to We Are Venomaniacs on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Music and iTunes, Audible, and YouTube. We can also be found on Twitter at WAV_podcast. Check out our Discord server where you can geek out with a community of Venomaniacs like us. As always, thank you to my fellow co-hosts, Carlos, Tyler, and Aaron, for joining me today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys.
And thanks to the Venom site for permitting us to make this podcast under the TBS banner and all of your generous support. And finally, thank you, loyal listeners and fellow Venomaniacs. You guys make an awesome community, and it's an honor to be your voice on the airwaves. Together, we are Venomaniacs.